And we do want to bring in NewsNation national security analyst and retired Marine intelligence officer, also the host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer. Hal, thanks so much for joining us on this tonight.
Thank you, Natasha.
And you've seen the damage, the FBI calling this the largest bombing ever in Southern California. You were actually the primary counterterrorism trainer for public safety in SoCal for about a decade. You're very familiar with this area. Why do you think the suspect chose this location, and what's going through your mind on this investigation?
Natasha, there's a couple things. One is location. He lived in 29 Palms, reportedly lived with his mother out there. His father said he hadn't seen him in a decade, so he was basically estranged from his father, is what it sounds like. And he was kind of a not I don't know, antisocial maybe, but he lived in kind of an online world. He was tied to a young lady that was up in the Pacific Northwest, and somehow in their discussions, this what he calls pro-mortalist, this anti-life sort of philosophy developed. She was reportedly dead or killed in a assisted suicide, and they had a pact that he was going to kill himself, and this was probably part of his self-actualization by doing this. But he was also aimed at the IVF clinic because he was anti-life, and he felt that basically anyone bringing life into this world was wrong. He felt the world was overpopulated. It's one of the strangest, I guess you could say, single issue domestic terrorist movements I've ever seen. Pretty darn small, but in this online world, these very disparate individuals are somehow able to link up.
These details are so disturbing. And as you're describing them, I mean, in your mind and with your experience in this world, do you think that his intended target was the IVF doctor and staff and patients there, or was it the embryos themselves?
Well, it was definitely the clinic, and I would say inclusive with his thinking was to destroy what was in the clinic. Now, fortunately, whereas it was a pretty big bomb, and those who have been looking at this, that he obviously kind of knew what he was doing in making a bomb, but he clearly didn't understand placement of the explosive, thank goodness. And it did not destroy the laboratory or the lab setting with the embryos. And so what he ended up doing was basically killing himself. He injured some people outside, but he didn't seriously injure or kill anybody inside the clinic. But yeah, it was pretty much, there's a website that's associated with him, not by name, still part of the investigation, that they believe was his. And it was very clear that he was aiming at this particular clinic.
I mean, as you're piecing together exactly what happened here, it is striking because, I mean, it's this 250-yard debris field. We understand that, I mean, debris found in people's yards, people's houses, and an extraordinary amount of damage here. The question, how could he have gotten the materials to inflict this amount of damage, while on the other hand, potentially not doing the research to understand to understand the internal layout of this fertility clinic to inflict the most damage, attempting to do a live stream as well? I mean, how do you reconcile these different pieces of information in your mind?
Well, the investigation is going to show a lot of this, Natasha, but obviously he got a lot of this information. Apparently, when he was a kid, he did model rockets, and his father had said he did things like set off smoke bombs and things like that. So he had an interest in explosive devices, incendiary devices for quite some time. So putting together a bomb like this, you can find how to do that online. And he put together a big bomb. Now, what he may have done is he may have done a lot of the research, what we call the reconnaissance, if you will, the surveillance of the facility. He may have done a lot of that online. He may not have actively gone into the facility. So he may have thought he parked where it was going to do the most damage, but he didn't do that. There's also another possibility, and they're trying to figure this out. He'd set up a tripod, and he was trying to live stream this entire event. It didn't upload, and it appears there's some sort of mistake, but it's possible, they don't know yet, but it's possible that this detonation, the timing of it was actually before he was ready. So it could have been he was doing some things and hadn't quite completed his entire plan, and the explosive goes off. And that does happen with suicide bombers, happens with jihadists, it happens with other terrorists as well.
Okay, Hal Kempfer, really appreciate the expertise you brought to bear tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natasha.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.